Welcome to Hello Chaos, the show where founders, innovators, and chaotic minds get real, get unfiltered about the mess, the magic, and mayhem of entrepreneurship and ownership. I am Jennifer Sutton, or JJ, your host and fellow work in progress. And today we have Tara Rolstad. She is Chief Truth Teller, speaker, and author of the book What to Do Right Now When Your Child is Suicidal. But I'm really excited to hear your journey and everything you have to say. Welcome, Tara. Welcome to the show. Welcome to our chaos
Thank
that we
you.
had with our microphones earlier. So appreciate your patience.
It's a thing. It's a
It is
thing.
a thing. Well, so tell me about how did you get into becoming a professional speaker, becoming an author, becoming that chief truth teller? And how did you get into this, what we call the crazy journey of entrepreneurship? Hey, founders, if your brand's feeling a little, chaotic, you're not alone. That's exactly why Bright Marketing created the Bright Starter Sprint. It's a 90-day jumpstart for founders who need to launch, level up, or maybe just hit reset with clarity and confidence. You'll get our full brand therapy sprint, a complete brand dossier with your story, audience personas defined, positioning all nailed down, plus your go-to-market, a high-level go-to-market blueprint, your pitch deck, anthem video, basic website, and a founder personal style guide that gives you clarity of how you need to approach your own content on social media. And you also get a 60-day content roadmap for your brand to put everything in motion. It's everything a founder needs to go from what do we do next to we're ready to roll in just 90 days flat. We can get it done. This Bright Starter Sprint built for founders who want to start smart, not just fast. So if you're interested, send an email to hello@gobrightnow.com. That is hello@gobrightnow.com.
Yeah. It's funny if you had asked me when I first started out as a professional speaker, do you think you're an entrepreneur? I probably would have said, but no, I'm a speaker. Nobody tells you that you're actually starting a business, girlfriend. That's what you're
Right,
doing.
right.
That's the
You've got to
road you've
earn your own
chosen.
paycheck.
Yes, exactly. My background's in nonprofit management, so I spent the first 15 years of my career working in
Wow.
different nonprofit organizations doing pretty much anything I wanted to hang my hat on because that's often how nonprofits work,
Right. You
is you
have to
get
wear
the
a lot of
opportunity to
hats.
do whatever you want to put your hand up for. And I put my hand up for pretty much everything but accounting and finance. And so did program development, communications, that kind of thing. And then about 15 years ago, my husband and I had three little ones of our own, and I'm going to get to the a point. This is going to be a slightly long version of
Oh,
how this
no.
happened, but
Yeah,
there's no other way in, right?
that's right.
I had lost a brother many, many years earlier, and he left behind three little girls who had then had a fourth half sister enter the picture. And
Wow.
unfortunately, they weren't in a safe environment. And so 15 years ago, they were pulled from that environment. And my husband and I took two of them into our home as relative foster kids. And also were helping my folks who had responsibility for the other two girls. So they came to us out of a situation of abuse and neglect and with a lot of mental health issues. That wasn't something I had had any
You were not
experience with.
prepared for. Yeah.
Oh, no, the level of unprepared I was impressive, in
Yeah.
fact.
The
And
chaos. Yeah.
yes, the chaos. So at that point, we kind of overnight had five kids, one of whom was a teenager with a lot of very significant mental health issues.
What were the ages of the kids?
Our biological kids were 2, 5, and 7, and the girls were 5 and 14.
Wow. Wow. So
Yeah.
overnight, 5 kids. Family of 7.
Yep. Yep.
Boom.
Yep. And so at that point, it became clear very quickly that the girls had a lot of needs. There were going to be a lot of appointments. There was just going to be a lot of logistical things to handle.
Right.
And so a regular job no longer worked for our family. Not if we wanted the house to remain standing
Right.
around us,
Yeah.
right? So I took off work and began this journey of learning about mental health and mental illness and trauma and helping put them back together while helping raise everybody. And then, little details like feeding them every single day and laundry and all of those things.
Yeah.
And did that for a few
That's
years,
amplified.
actually. It
I
is
mean, I can't even
amplified. Yes.
imagine like because I have 4 kids, but I did 2 kids and then I took a 7 year and then 2 kids. So I don't, you're managing 6 calendars as a household. You're managing, I mean, like you said, the appointments, but also, I have friends that have kids with emotional, trauma and it's given me a very different perspective of an appreciation of I didn't have near that, like just the normalcy of running a house. You add on that is like amplified. Nothing is
Yes.
easy. Dinner's
No,
not easy. Getting dressed for school is not easy. Going to a new doctor, a dentist, these are all new environment or therapist. Like everything is a battle. Going to bed
that
is a
first,
battle.
that
And
first fall, we had kids on 3 different soccer teams and a teenager in and out of the psych unit with suicide attempts.
oh my goodness.
Talk about chaos.
Yeah. No
It
kidding.
it was it was a lot.
S- So you're doing the juggling, the logistics of the
Hmm.
household.
Yeah.
What was the moment where you were like, okay, I am going to become a speaker and an author and generate, like you said, that's a business because that takes time, money, and effort and energy
Yeah.
to do those things. So
Yep.
what was the trigger? What was the inspiration?
The trigger was I am a very extroverted person and I share pretty much everything that's happening to me as it's happening to me, right? If I have a thought or a feeling, it is generally tattooed
You're just
across my
putting it out
forehead.
there.
It's
You're
just out there. And I mean, hopefully it's usually appropriate and within social boundaries, but I'm a pretty open book. And for me, the trigger was how many conversations I would have with people who would share that they were going through something very significant in terms of a mental health issue in their family and how completely isolated and alone they were. I'd say, "Oh gosh, that's a lot. Who's helping you?" Because I
right.
had a lot of support. I had a fantastic family around me. I had a faith community that was supportive of me. I had
Mm,
friends within our school community that were super supportive, and we were lucky enough to connect with the right professionals often, not all the
right.
time.
Right.
And so many of these families would say, "No, I haven't told anyone else. I'm too embarrassed." Or
Oh.
I did tell someone once and I got a terrible reaction and I never told anyone ever again.
Mm,
And it just became very clear to me what an isolating experience this was for people.
yeah.
And that felt completely unacceptable to me, completely unacceptable.
Yeah.
And so I was exploring different ways of trying to get back into the workforce at that point because things had settled down a little bit with it. And I had taken on a couple of different like little part-time jobs working as a family support specialist and
Mm,
trying to figure out how to help families begin to navigate this journey. And at the same time was actually I joined a Toastmasters club,
oh, yeah.
which is great for anybody who's
Yes.
either afraid to speak or just wants to speak more, which was my case. I am
Mm.
not afraid to speak. I have absolutely no hesitation about that whatsoever. I've always loved being on stage. I've always loved communicating with people. I've
Yeah.
always loved moving people through either the written word or the verbal word. Is that a thing? The verbal word.
We'll call it
And
that. Yeah.
so I found out about the National Speakers Association and began attending
Okay.
some of their meetings and began thinking, I think I could do this. I've got a story. Let's
Mm,
make some use out of it. Let's take something good from this really difficult experience that my family has been through
right.
and do good with it.
Yeah.
And so I cannot say to you that I started this with the goal of making a lot of money.
Right.
I that is definitely not my best skill set.
Yeah. Well, they
My
say
husband,
that's like that's the last thing. If you have a passion for something, it will eventually make money. But a lot of people are, we talked to a lot of founders and owners, and that's the theme that we hear the most of. Hey, if you think you're gonna make money, like right away, that's a false narrative.
yes.
Like it is hard to
Yeah,
to
it
do
is
it.
hard.
Um, and
And
so
there are a lot of professional speakers that do very, very well,
yeah,
but
yeah.
not usually speaking about mental health.
Yeah, is that because is that a category? I mean, I know it's been a stigma for
Mhm.
decades. I think COVID helped not make it be. I mean, at least the conversation was entering more mainstream.
It's getting easier.
It's
Yes,
getting
it's getting
easier. That's what's
easier.
got. Have you felt like has it plateaued, or it's still there's still some stigma around it? And I'm also
There's
wondering
definitely still stigma around it.
with like mental health within children, is that even recognized at the level? I mean, than like adult mental health, but you're dealing with more like trauma and
I
emotional.
actually, yeah, I didn't start out speaking specifically about kids' mental health. I started
Okay.
speaking specifically about how can an organization create a culture that supports mental health, right? How do we all
Huh.
do this for each other better? Because
Yeah.
we're not going to fix the mental health system. We're
Right.
not going to fix the healthcare system in this country individually. We should all continue to fight for that very broken situation.
Right.
But we're not going to fix it individually. But what we can do is be better managers. We
Hmm.
can be better community members. We can do a better job of coming alongside families who are going through this experience or individuals who are going through this experience and just being supportive, just
Hmm.
being good humans.
Right.
And the difference that makes, it sounds very simple, but the difference that makes when somebody feels the safety and the freedom to be real about what they're going through and then feels the safety and the freedom to actually reach out and get the help that they need and maybe they get some support from those around them makes all the difference in the
Hmm.
world. And it's
Um,
basic stuff that
yeah.
we already know how to do. We just don't apply it in that way. And so that was really kind of my motivating message was, look, we can all do this for each other and we can do it better. And in fact, when you apply that, say at a corporate level or at a
Hmm.
community level, you're going to have higher productivity, you're going to have higher retention, you're going to have people who are more excited to come to work
Hmm.
and freer to do their best work
Yeah.
because they don't feel like they have to hide things
Hmm.
and they don't feel like they have to conceal what's going on or be fake. That
Right.
doesn't
They don't
serve any of
like
us.
remove the masks.
Hmm.
Right. That
Yeah,
and you're right. There are
absolutely.
all the studies that do show when people feel like they can be more genuinely them, like you can show up with your authentic self, that you are more productive, that you feel better, and yeah,
Yeah.
that you're seen
Yes.
by people
Yes.
around you.
And
Yeah.
when that happens in response, you can be the best version of yourself
Yeah.
and you do better work. So from a purely financial perspective, it's a good investment for organizations to figure out how to do this. So that was
Yeah.
my first message.
Okay.
And I began delivering that for association conferences
Mm.
and companies. I had to figure out what does that mean? Like, what is the
Let's
business? What are the business pieces of that?
Right. Did you approach that of, okay, so you go into Toastmasters, you're doing the National Speakers Association. You obviously then have to write your speeches, pitch your speeches, but how do you get booked? Like, that's the thing is like going from just speaking to then getting paid to speak as a business. Where did you go for that? Who helped you? Like, what was your community, your
I think
advisors?
this is
Or did
probably
you have to
very
go
similar.
Google like
No,
most of us?
for me, it was the National Speaker Association.
Okay.
Beginning to make contacts in that organization, talking to other speakers about how they've done this, having them suggest, well, if you're going to focus on that. You need to meet this guy, and then that guy would introduce you to somebody else. And, it's not really that different from any other entrepreneurial journey
Right.
in terms of defining yourself as what is the product. Well, I'm the product. My message is the product.
Right.
What format does that take? How do I want to deliver that to somebody? And then finding the people that might be interested in writing that check, right?
Yeah. Right.
And I still haven't nailed it.
You're a
I
work in
still consider
progress like the
myself
rest of us.
absolutely, absolutely. As a side note, about the same time this was all starting to kind of cook, I was also doing some stand up comedy about mental health
Ah,
and then teaching stand up comedy to people who were experiencing mental health issues and helping them use that to process their experience and to empower themselves, and did that with a partner. And we co-wrote a book about that experience and about how comedy changes your ability to process that,
yes.
and what happens when you can wield that difficult thing in front of an audience and make them laugh. So that was my first writing experience. And that was the first time that I thought, yeah, I could actually do this. I could write another book someday. I didn't know what it would be, but I knew that
Right.
was probably going to be in the future. Just about a year into the pandemic, we found out our kids had continued to grow up, and my nieces were doing well in various ways. And my own middle child wound up experiencing severe depression. And we found out that she has ADHD and anxiety, and she's on the autism spectrum. She's a complicated kid, and she had been experiencing suicidal thinking for years, and we didn't know it. And
Wow.
this is in the household of a woman who is a speaker on mental health,
Right.
who has raised another child, my niece, who was intensely suicidal for years, and we had no idea.
Wow.
So the last few years have been also helping her, my daughter, heal and
Mm,
get treatment and try to figure out how to move forward in her life. And that was the impetus for writing this latest book,
mm,
was being reminded again with fresh eyes how little support there is out there for parents who
mm.
have children who have suicidal thoughts.
Yeah.
And that's when the business kind of took a turn in that direction. So I still speak to corporate and association events about culture and mental health and more. I also have a program on self-care
Mm,
because particularly after the pandemic, that's become more and
yeah.
more of an issue people are aware of. But now I also have this book specifically aimed at parents and caregivers of kids who struggle with mental health crises.
Which
And
is
so,
a gap. Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's like any other business that says, where is the gap?
Right.
How can I fill it? Am I the
How do I
person to
solve
fill it?
this?
Yeah,
Right.
how do I solve this problem?
Yeah.
And then putting it forward and hoping it's successful.
Yeah. So what's been the journey like? What did you learn most about yourself? Like, were there aha moments of as you're doing this self discovery, crafting, being, very involved in mental health, but from a business, like, what were the biggest? I've learned some things about me.
Boy, have I.
I,
I have learned that, and I'm not there yet, but the moment I can hire some folks to help me with the detail oriented marketing side of
hmm
speaking, I will be better off
yeah,
because I don't like it. And I think it's boring. And I therefore avoid it with a passion because you know what's not boring is writing and
right.
creating and
And
content
speaking
and
and being
learning
doing,
and
yeah,
speaking and being on stage. That's the fun stuff. And so if I've got a to-do list and some of it is send out another round of emails to my database that I can't remember how to use, and some of it is, hey, start writing that new speech for that thing.
right.
I'm going to pick this every day. And that's bad. JJ, that is bad. It's not good
I fall into
because
it too.
I'll go on a kick of like focusing on my performance, focusing on connecting, focusing on what is the most impactful way to craft this message so that I hook into people's hearts and minds.
Right.
And I focus on that so much that I'm doing zero marketing, and then I have a big gap in my calendar and no income coming in.
Yeah.
So it is a continuing struggle for me. And the solution partly is,
Right.
and that is not as available as I would like it to be. So it's a whole thing.
I know. I know. As someone that runs a marketing agency, I feel you. But also, I have to wear the hat of founder. I am creating the content for the company, and yeah, I can spend all day spinning on that. But it's like, JJ, you need to actually like do some work for our clients. Oh yeah, oh yeah. I need to you know get in there, Chandler. It's like, yeah, get on top of that. So as you're kind of going and juggling all this and going, how do you, and you realize the isolation, you realize both being the person talking about it, but you also have experienced it, right? Um, what are you doing to deal with your own stress, these challenges, like maintaining your mental health? What are those
Yeah, that has
disciplines
been,
or routines have you gotten into? Like what do you do
yeah, I
besides
protect my
drink?
sleep. I protect my sleep. I got a therapist. Highly
Yeah,
recommend. Do that. Guess what? You don't have to have something wrong with you to get a therapist.
right.
And I say this to parents all the time. Like, I don't know who thinks we can do this on our own because it's freaking hard.
Yeah,
Even the typical parenting journey is
right.
hard, but if you've got kids who are struggling, forget about it. So I'm really intentional about maintaining the relationships in my life that support me. The pandemic was tough on my family. My husband worked in IT forever and he got laid off and had to 3 years before he could find something new and he had to change careers. And
Wow.
so it's been really stressful and I've had to be really intentional about it. And I'm not sure who thought it was a really good idea for me to go through this while I'm also going through perimenopause and menopause. But
Yeah.
hi, that's complicated every single thing.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
The
So making sure
sweats
care for
and
that's
the
all lined up and yeah.
so have you built so do you still do stand up as your relief to get up there and just,
I don't perform very often. I mostly do it for fundraisers and
yeah.
charity events and that kind of thing. But I use a lot of humor when I speak
Mm.
because I can't not anyways. That's just part of who I am.
Right.
But
Was that
also,
natural, like the whole stand up, or did you take classes to like learn
I
the
took a
rhythm of
class.
comedy and timing and
Yeah, I took a class. I would say I probably came into it with an underlying skill at the writing and looking for the funny, but there's a lot of skill involved in crafting the joke and getting the
yeah.
words exactly right and getting the timing right. So no, I took a class in the beginning. It was a class that was specifically aimed at people with a mental health experience, and I was there as the token family.
Okay. Was it
Yeah.
like an improv class or was it specifically
No, it was stand up.
comedic
It
writing,
was
stand
stand
up?
up. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Were you nervous to be
No.
in there? No, because that like that fed
I'm a
your
weirdo.
extrovertedness of
Yes.
like that. I
Yes.
would be the wall hugger in the back going, "Oh my god, this is like not
No,
my comfort
I,
zone
for
whatsoever."
whatever reason, that gene did not get switched on for me. So I'm a little bit more like, let me on the stage, get out the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you be doing if you had no fears? If you had the freedom, money, whatever, and no fear, what would you be doing?
I would have, so I have my own conference for for parents on mental health. I run that conference through local NAMI chapters right now, nonprofit organization,
Yep.
but I would have a national corporate sponsor for that. And I would take that all over the country because parents are struggling right now and our kids are in crisis. And so if
Yeah.
I had no fear and I could figure out the corporate sponsorship angle, that's what I would be doing. It's
Okay.
taking that conference out.
Where is the conference today? Where is it held?
Right now I'm in the Portland, Oregon area, and so
Okay.
we do it around the metropolitan area, but there's absolutely no reason I can't pick it up and
Take it
set
on
it
the
down
road.
anywhere. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Except for the
NAMI
fact that I need
people.
to figure out how to pay for it.
Yeah, that's right. Sponsorships,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
um, so is there anything that you've kind of learned today that you're like, this was amazing information that if you hit rewind or if you look back to go, I would have wished I would have had this information at that point in my life? Have you had any of those moments?
I did start it fairly early, but I really think the fact that I joined my professional association, the
Mm,
National Speaker Association, as early as I did was hugely helpful because it was such a way to short circuit the struggle
Yeah.
and get connected to people who had the answers that I needed. Because being a professional speaker, probably like a lot of different entrepreneurial journeys, is pretty lonely.
Yeah.
You're often a business of one, or maybe you have a VA, or maybe you eventually hire a small team, but in the beginning, it's just you.
Right.
And so for me, having those connections early on was immensely valuable
Mm.
and really encouraging. I'm not sure I would have stuck with it without
With
them.
that circle. Was there
Yeah,
are there other is it just the National Speakers Associate? Are there other associations that you tapped into, or was that just like the primary one and they had a community?
that's the primary one.
Okay.
And then there are local chapters. And so I belong to the
Okay.
Oregon chapter.
Okay. I didn't know that. Very good.
Yeah,
Okay, if we looked ahead a year from now, next summer, 2026, what would we be celebrating? What's a win we'd be celebrating for you?
I should know the answer to this question. I should know the answer to this question because here's another thing that I struggle with is setting big
Yeah.
goals. I'm not good at it. I'm not good at it. I'm just like, what's the next thing? What's
You're
the
like,
next thing?
I
Instead
got
of
to book
saying,
my gigs for next quarter.
right,
Right.
exactly, exactly. And I know that I should have a next thing. I know I should have a really great answer to what's the big goal
I
for the
don't think
next
you're
year. So
alone in
maybe,
this. And because we
maybe
work
the
with a lot
answer
of
is next
companies.
summer. Maybe the answer is next summer. I'll be celebrating an actual
There
plan
you go. Ta-da!
with actual
With
goals
goals
attached to it.
that you can
Yes,
focus on
yes.
with
And I
intention.
have done a little about that.
Yeah.
I have done a little of it, but not nearly as well as I should. And it's an ongoing journey for me.
Yes. Like most. You're not, like, I'll tell you, you're not alone in that.
That's
Uh,
good to hear.
I would say, even, I think that's the biggest surprise. We work with like really small businesses, micro businesses, solopreneurs, um, even through like mid-sized enterprises at like the 250 million size. 80% don't have a plan. And we're talking like,
Wow.
yeah, in the 30 years
That
I've
does
been
make
in the
me feel
business,
better.
I think they might have a, just like you, like a, maybe some number, some vision of, I want to be there. It could be, I just want to grow 5% every year, or I need to get to this revenue number because it's some arbitrary number. They were like, it's just a milestone. But I can tell you with assuredness, I mean, I'm talking about like statistically, when I say 80%, we have enough data that shows that the majority of the companies don't have the roadmap of why they put that number there, how are they going to get to that number? Like, what is the action plan to do it?
Yeah.
And so,
And
yeah,
I do work with a business coach, and she has been very patient with me
as they should
and
be.
very
Yeah,
helpful.
they're so
Yes,
helpful.
very helpful in terms of, okay, but what are you going to do
Right.
next? And how are you going to
Do
get
What are you
there?
going to do
And
the
what
next
about
90
next
days?
quarter?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. So that's another resource that I'm super grateful
Yeah.
for. She has been amazing, and I probably wouldn't still be doing this if it hadn't been for her.
Yeah. I can't
Here's
champion
another
enough
thing
about a
that
coach.
I will just say by next summer, I will have figured out how to get this book into the hands of therapists,
Oh,
treatment centers, behavioral
great.
health agencies so that they can distribute it to parents.
That is a
That
win.
that's a goal that I feel very strongly
Yeah.
about and that I have every reason to believe should happen. The book is really good. I mean, I hate to say that, but the book is really
You're
good.
like, I'm a
And
great
it's
writer.
so
Like,
I am a great writer. And also just there's nothing available for
mm,
parents in that situation. And so figuring those connections out to get it out to the places that need to know it exists, that's my big goal.
yeah.
That's a big goal for the year.
Because to me, that's like the biggest aha for a lot of company or even just people of like, we didn't know it existed. If I knew it existed, I'm going to do it. I'm going to get it.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
I think that's, yeah, regardless of industry. What's the best advice? So you have a business coach, and I do. Like, I celebrate. I think a business coach is one of the best investments you can have as a founder, an entrepreneur. But you've got that at like, what's the best advice you've given by your coach or other founders, other speakers that you can
Oh,
share? Yes.
focus.
Focus.
Speakers aren't, I'm not going to speak for all of us, but many of us are very creative folks
Mm.
who are, I would say there's a much higher preponderance of ADHD in the speaking community than perhaps the average community. And we get very distracted by shiny things. And we get very distracted by, well, wait, I don't have a podcast yet. I haven't written another book yet.
Right.
Maybe I should do more social media.
Hmm.
Maybe I should do all the social media. Maybe I should invent some social media. Like, it's so hard to stay focused because you feel like you should be doing everything all the
Right.
time.
It is that
And
it is
so
that
that's
pressure
my
though,
constant
right?
struggle.
I see these people, they're doing this. Maybe I should. I mean, I fall into that trap all the time. It's hard.
Yeah,
Focus. Yeah.
focus.
I always say, I don't like, I'm in that 50th journey of perimenopausal and, the weight gain and all that. And somebody was like, just follow Oprah's diet plan. And I'm like, she can pay people to literally walk around and slap food out of their mouth. Like, we do not, like, I don't have a food slapper on my staff. Like, because that's what I would need. Because I don't have a lot of discipline when it comes. Like, I'm not going to go work out. Come on, that ain't going to happen. To whack. I don't know why I was saying that. That would be my one day. I might get there. The focus.
I need a VA. You need a food slapper. I mean, we all need different things.
Right. Who's your biggest cheerleader or unexpected cheerleader?
I'm going to say my speaker community.
Hmm.
The speaking community is so generous and non-competitive and supportive, and we all speak on different topics anyways. And I've got some friends that are just huge cheerleaders for me in that
Hmm.
respect, and then a couple of other friends that are always like cheering me on and getting behind what I'm doing
Yeah.
and super supportive. So that's been really helpful.
Oh, I love that. I think it's so to have your cheerleaders around you, holding you up. If you had to sum up, if you had to describe your entrepreneurial journey in one word, what word describes that?
Hopeful,
It's
hopeful.
good. It's a good word.
Yeah.
All right. Now, if you look ahead to your next chapter, Miss Author, what word defines that chapter?
Focused, hopefully focused, ideally focused.
Ideally, I think those are great. The ideally focused or hopefully focused. Hopeful and then hopefully focused.
And I know you said one word, but I'm not really a rule follower.
Right.
So
As you should not be. All right. I have to ask you because you with all the kids and the chaos in here, what do you do with your free time?
love to go to the movies. I have a movie subscription or,
Like
a
the Regal?
membership to the,
Like the,
yep, yep, yep. And I try to go at least once a week. And I usually go by myself and I love that.
yeah.
That does not bother me at all. Some people think that's very
No,
weird or
I'm
sad,
a
and I
movie
love it.
insane. And I am one
Yeah.
of those old school, like Chandler and I have talked about this because he's different generation. But there's some movies that I'll see the trailer. I'm like, that's big screen worthy. Like I have to go see it on the big screen.
Yes.
It won't. And there's other like I won't ever watch if it's on a small screen because it just won't have the impact. So I won't even
Mm-mm.
bother.
Yeah,
Um,
I completely
yeah.
agree. I'm very concerned that younger generations are going to kill the movie industry. So I really hope that does not happen so that I can continue to go to the movie
That's right.
theater and it's still there.
I know he's over here going, it's gonna die. I'm like, no,
No.
I love it.
I love to read books. I love television. I love trashy television.
Okay, so
Not trashy television, but I love American Idol. I'm not ashamed to say it.
are you into this Love Island? Like my kids are totally
No,
obsessed in the Love Island. I don't get it.
no.
Are you in it? No.
Yeah, that one just makes me sad and worried about that.
That would be. All right, so what okay, tell me the last movie that you saw that you enjoyed.
Oh,
Which one did you go see on the big screen?
last movie that I saw. And so unfortunately, I think it's been like a month.
Oh no.
It's been not, I know
You
it's not good. I
missing
have a
some good
long list of
ones.
movies I need to go see. Um, I'm gonna go see Jurassic Park very soon. I need to see, I like pretty much all of them.
Yeah. I meant to go see that
But
last
the last,
night. My
yeah,
the Jurassic World because there's a local theater independent They do $5 movies on Tuesdays. Any
Mhm.
movie, anytime. So that's like I try to my kids are all movie buffs, but yeah, I try to go. They don't like to sit in the theater with me anymore. So we try to map out,
Sad.
okay, you're going to go see that. I have no desire to see that, you know, Lilo and Stitch movie or like I'm not going to go see I'm going to go see Mission Impossible.
That's the last movie I saw.
That's
That's the last movie
that's
I
the last
saw.
movie I saw too. I liked it.
Yeah,
You know,
I did too.
Tom Cruise
I
will
did too.
keep the movie industry alive with his little monologues at the beginning. Welcome to the theater. But I do want to go see Jurassic World. That looks, I've seen all the Jurassic franchise. And that was what some of my favorite
Me too.
books of the Crichton books. I read them all before any of the movies came out. So, yeah, I could go see that. Okay, well, what TV shows are your like top TV shows?
So I love action
So, like Reacher
crime
and
shows,
that
like
kind of
all
stuff?
of that thing. So yeah, Reacher. I'm watching The Recruit right now on Netflix.
Yes,
Just
I've seen that.
really
It's
good.
very good. I binged
I
through
also
that.
have to have Yep. I also have to have a television show for the treadmill,
Hmm,
which is an entirely different set of requirements. So through the spring, that was American Idol. I'm currently watching America's Sweethearts about the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. That's my treadmill show. Very, very different than the show that I sit down and watch by
yeah,
myself in the evening, like different requirements.
right.
Yeah, it's got to be something that's going to suck me in to the degree that if I say not allowed to watch it if you're not in the treadmill, that
Right.
it will actually work.
That's so good. I love it. Um, well, that's awesome. I've loved talking to you. It's great to get to know
Thank
you.
you. Me too.
Before we go, how do you want people to support you, get a hold of you, book you, either buy the book or book you to speak?
Yeah, so they can get any information they need about me at my website, which is my name, tararolstad.com, TARAROLSTAD,
And we'll
tararolstad.com.
do all the
And
linkings when we publish this. So,
yep,
yeah.
all the linkings. You can follow me on social media. Also, again, just usually my name. And the book is available in all of the book buying places you can think of.
Excellent. Wow.
Yeah.
Thank
And
you.
I think the most important thing for people to know is if they are struggling with a mental health issue or they have a family member there is help available. Do not suffer that by yourself quietly. Reach out for help, get help. And if you know a parent who's experiencing that, tell them about my book because you don't know who's going through
Right.
this and who desperately needs some
That's
resources
right.
and support.
The community is open and available. Right. Yeah. You do not need to suffer alone or
Mm,
fear or have that fear. I think we get so caught up in like
nope.
fear of just saying, raising the hand, or like you said, just saying this is happening, and then people will surround you.
Right?
All right. Well, that's a wrap on today's chaos, but the journey doesn't stop here. If you found yourself nodding along, laughing, giggling with Tara, yours, you know, make sure to subscribe and share. Leave us that 5-star review on Spotify or Apple. You can dig deeper into founder resources and tools, more episodes over at Orange Whip, WIP. That's orangewip.com for work in progress. Yeah. Until next time, stay curious, stay scrappy, and remember, we are all a work in progress. See you again next week.